Okay guys, so today we are building a satellite. We are going to I want to make 16 satellites, and I did. This is a pre-recorded video, so my voice is just a voiceover. And currently I was having some trouble in making the satellite work, so one of them is different. Don't worry, I don't have OCD, and if you do, don't get angry at me. Um, so the other ones were all just the same. So yeah, I'm building some satellites, 16 in total, to put them in a stable polar orbit, and it's gonna be relay networks. Yeah, that's what the title says. So we're building a relay network. Yeah. Uh, in this phase I was building. This is sped up by 5 times, if you want to know, because it took more than an hour, and it's not exactly 5 times. It's 5.7. I don't know, just enough to make an exact 10-minute video. Yeah. Um. So it's a big fairing. I know. We'll build a rocket kind of close to a Saturn V. Um, so we are now extending the third stage, and putting more antennas. So I had to go through a lot of tests because it was failing. I couldn't control the rocket. It was suddenly steering to the right, which you will see. So I'm putting a fairing so we can cover the engine, and that's basically the build. We'll just add some boosters because why not? It's the most credible thing to do. Uh, and that's basically it. Let's launch this rocket. Uh, some struts are obviously needed, like every time. So let's go. Oh, it's a little wobbly, but okay. It's steering to the right. I told you. You can't control this, so I'll just get some fins here, and uh, usually the engines have problems that it's kind of weird, but they act as a whole, and as they do that, they steer in all directions at the same time, because they're doing it like if they were all on the same side. I don't know if you understand this, but it's weird. You'll get to see that. Now that I've put some fins, it's still steering to the right, but I can to the left, but I can control it. So yeah, then it gets uncontrollable, and there it goes. But you can see also a demonstration of how the satellite actually works, because it will collide, and here's an example. It also spun very fast. Uh, but yeah, I'm just basically gonna do that again, and I will not give the engines any gimbal except for the middle one, because it's way more controllable. And that's basically it. This was probably my first video that was really edited with an editing software, and that's how I make these voiceovers. I think I will do that more, but at this time it was pretty hard to get an orbit, and we couldn't manage right at the first time. I even thought that it collided with one of the engines, but it didn't. Then it became uncontrollable, and we are done. So this is an example of how it would work. We have a group action in the we have the control of the action set to the key 1. So now when we hit the number 1 in our keyboard, it will actually deploy the antennas and the solar panels. So now that we have all things ready and we need a little bit more struts, and also I'll add some Cepatrons so we can now get away from the boosters quicker. And that's it. Enjoy. So it's still a little wobbly, but the rocket is now steering to the right. Yeah, it's very uncontrollable. And there it goes. I don't know why, but my rocket still keeps steering either to the left or to the right, like this time. But I don't know what happens, and this time it went hypersonic. And yeah, I came back and I added some more fins, and this time I was thinking about should I go to a polar orbit or a low Kerbin orbit, but I chose to go to the polar orbit. And I'm adding more. I saw that the second stage had fuel but didn't have oxidizer, and that's what I added in this time. Also forgot to add more fins. Uh, that's why I came back right away. And besides adding some fins, I checked my staging because the Cybertrons were firing first due to me adding them just in the final time. So yeah, now I forgot to add the fins, and now I'm doing it. Uh, it's still gonna be a little wobbly for the final time in which I can put them in a polar orbit. But yeah, I'll have to use time warp to stop my craft from flying away. And it's very hard to control. I should have put some RCS on this. I'll just use that movement that I was getting and use it in a more controllable way since I have more fins. And that's how I got. I used the problem in my advantage. It's a good tip, I tell you. Um, so yeah, we're almost ending our gravity turn, and we are turning. Okay, this was a bad moment because I almost started going in the other way, so I had to use time warp to stop my rotation and help me turn. And I managed to turn, but not in the right direction because the controls were messed up due to the satellite being sideways and not being facing to the front. So now I'm trying to extend my orbit, but I forgot I got the maneuvers with this control attitude. So I ditched the second stage and the first stage and tried to do the maneuvers with just one engine. But still, it is very hard because at first you can't control roll since you're in space and the fins don't work. So I had to use time warp in my favor. And it was very hard to achieve an orbit because I couldn't get the right inclination and the right heading. But in the end, I could. This is almost a polar orbit. It's not a complete polar orbit because it's missing a few miles. Uh, and now I'm about to complete this. You can see I'm using time warp in order to control my spacecraft. And we are in orbit. Let's deploy the satellites. We will use the action. We'll deploy this one first for a different orbit for the others. And there it goes. So we have established a polar orbit with 16 satellites in less than 1 hour.